here. How are you today, Coach Ford?
I am doing fine. Someone have to apologize to you. I was running around like a cutting neck chicken, trying to get my scripts written down, and I'd be doggone if the 2 o'clock just ran up on me too daggum fast. But I'm here.
Fine. You're totally fine. It's nice to meet you. This is my first time meeting you. I'm Lainey Angel. I'll be the communications coordinator for the Orlando.
Great.
So it's very nice. But whatever questions you guys have for Coach Ford, just let him rip.
So good to see you again, Coach Ford. Kyle Nash with the 3-point conversion. You know, you heard me ask Kamali ask about it, but I certainly want your perspective as the offensive coordinator there. In the joint practices, what lessons do you feel like you learned the most of? What do you feel went right, and what are you looking to work on in the next, or what have you been working on in Monday's practice?
The first thing when we had a joint practice, I wanted to make certain that our communication was good, and it was good, and our execution was good. Obviously, you can always get better. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that because when you are practicing with more guys than what you're going to have on your squad, it takes a little bit more coordination to make certain that every player have opportunity to make this team. So you want to make certain that all of them get equal reps, and you want to make certain that they all are very aware and they have the knowledge of the game plan, which means the game plan. It was simple, but it wasn't that simple. And so when you look at the final tally, you find out that you really do have a pretty smart football team, because we had 0 middles. We did have 2 pre-snap penalties, and I harp a lot about, hey, we're not gonna beat ourselves. And no one thing you don't want to do is have pre-snap penalties, and the execution was pretty good.
As a quick follow-up, Coach, I got to ask: when you had the pre-snaps, did you still end up getting the first down on those series?
This joint practice, we didn't keep the yardage that way. We just moved it back and everything, and caused me to have my blood pressure to rise just a little bit. And I keep telling myself, when I first started this operation, I was 6'2". A few more of those pre-snap penalties, I'm going to get even shorter than what I am. So, yeah, but it was all good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us here, Coach Ford. This is Alford from the Allen and Aaron Sports Talk Radio Show. I got a chance to talk to Coach Buckley yesterday and talk about the experience so far, taking on this offense, working underneath Coach Buckley so far.
Well, first thing, I'm very grateful and very appreciative that Coach Buck gave me this particular opportunity. He expects the offense to be organized, and he wants it to be dynamic and very explosive as well as creative. When he first interviewed me, sometimes you insert foot in mouth. I told him there was a couple of things that I was wanting to do, and I said this and this, and then I also said I think it's very important that we throw the football deep 8 times a game. So every day he walks by me, he said, just keep in mind 8 times a game. So he makes certain that I'm very aware that we are going to throw the ball deep. And I try to tell him every once in a while we might catch some inclement weather. I don't think he cares about that. I think he just wants us to throw the ball down people a little bit. But he has been very good about that, and I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest with you. I really am.
Yeah, Coach Ford. Were you surprised that he wanted the offense to be so aggressive and dynamic?
No, not really. And I said that way. Being a new league, I was brought up that offense was for the fans and defense is for the coaches. And obviously defense wins championships. But if you're just talking about getting the media and getting the fans in the stands, then you need to bring some type of dynamic offense to do that. I'm not trying to be critical about offenses, but I'm almost certain that most fans would not come too many times if you went 3-2. The score at the end of the game was 3 points to 2. So they're looking for some points. And so as a result, we work very hard and organized and being creative in how we make the plays line up a certain way and try to be creative. And at the same time, have fun with it. I wish that you could come in one of our meeting rooms with the players. You would flat out just start laughing and scream. You say, how in the John Ben are they getting these players to, I'm going to say, step on and get on the same page? We do all this. I do all the instructions and talk about technique, and they are writing it down. And then all of a sudden, Lamar Thomas comes stepping up there, and he's demonstrating it because he was a receiver, a professional receiver But after he's done, he has all the guys laughing. I mean, it's almost interesting, but it's very impressive because we already know, regardless of whatever time span that we have their attention 100%.
No, edutainment is a great way to get stuff across. I hear where you're going with that, Coach. For sure. Let me ask you this too, because it's interesting because you were talking about the 8 deep throws a game. I think we talked about that last week. But when Coach Buckley was talking with Alan yesterday, he mentioned that some of the position groups he's most impressed with are the running backs and tight ends. Are they a versatile group to where they would get involved in that deep ball, or are they there to provide balance, or where do they kind of fit in? I know you can't give me the whole playbook, but
I know, but they somewhat both. Our tight ends are very versatile. If you didn't know our people, I'm saying people, if you just didn't know the numbers, or you only knew the numbers, you would think they were wide receivers because they had some speed to them. Now, our running backs, all 4 of them to a certain degree look alike. 2 of them run a 4.3, I think a 4.36. The other 2 runs 4.4s. All 4 of them can catch the football. One of them probably could easily be on a third quarterback. He throws it so well. So we have a lot of versatility, and they love to compete. And they love to show off their athletic skills. And I'm not saying it in an egotistical way. They really, hey, Coach, look, this is my rep. Let me take this rep. So it's for me, it's very exciting. And then, sometimes, you're a new kid and you have these new toys and you want to doodle with it. But you have to be very careful that sometimes you can expand more than what you would like to expand. We are going to expand, but we want to make certain that everybody know exactly what they're doing and that they have enough reps to make the creativity of that particular play a success. I always tell them that what a play is nothing but a design, and anybody can draw one up, but the players are the ones that make it. And we have some guys on the football team right now that can make those designs look pretty good.
Yeah, and speaking of that, when you are the offensive coordinator, you have to decide who's actually going to – there's only one football. You got to decide who gets it. How is that a challenge to you sometimes?
Oh, it's a big challenge. I'm getting it from the players. I'm getting it from the assistant coaches. And they look at it, they say, my goodness, coach, we got, most times, for an example, let's say that we have 12 plays on 7-on-7. If I do not list at least 4 of them with none but all wide receivers out there, Lamar is looking at me fussing. If I don't give the tight ends 3 shots, the tight end coach is all over me. And thank goodness I'm the running back coach, because the running backs are fussing at me. Coach, I didn't run the draw. I didn't run the press. You didn't let me run the half option. Oh my goodness. So it is a challenge, but it's a good challenge. I must admit, they constantly keep me on my toes.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're going to have it, that's the right way to have it. I get that. And let me ask you a question I asked Kamali, because from my experience, the best opportunity to assess the defense isn't so much to ask the defensive coaches, so what do you think of so-and-so? I like to talk to the guys that's practicing against them. And, you're making calls and trying to adjust against them. What from the defense, from your perspective of having to go against them in practice, what part of the defense jumps off the page at you?
The first 3 practices, they had the entire offensive coaching staff frustrated.
Oh, wow.
That's the best way I can explain it. And it wasn't anything about us attacking them. It's that at the plays that we were trying to implement, they were on the same page with us. I'm a firm believer for an offense to be successful, we must be at least 2 steps ahead of the posse. Well, they're right beside us. I mean, they had us straining every snap, every down and distance, and they were enjoying themselves. It was, we was making a statement. We said, my goodness, you guys must have our scripts. And they didn't have it. It was just that what they were doing, and they were reacting very well. They were just tough. And at the beginning of the year, you understand that the defense is going to be ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Because, we're trying to coordinate 11 guys. And they coordinate 11 guys, but in theory, the only thing they're doing is chasing the football. We cannot do that. So So you have to curb your frustration, but you also have to be realistic that, hey, just maybe the group that we're going against is pretty good.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like to accept that sometimes you're facing somebody actually got a good game plan against you. With you having 4 dynamic running backs, talk about that option you have for that type of backfield.
It's actually a pretty good situation. And I say it that way because all 4 of them do a lot of things very similar. They are really tough-minded on certain plays like the lead draw. And I tell them that although the lead draw at the Dallas Cowboys was to the right side of the football, but Emmett read the backside linebacker. And I said, to be a real good running back, you have to have great eyes. And sometimes you got to hit up in the hole where the hole is designed, but most of the time you hit in the space. Well, all 4 of these guys doing that. And they are very aware of ball security. And I told the defense the other day when we was pressing the other day to throw some, I'm going to call them modified wrinkles in the blitz package to see if our backs could make the adjustments. They were on the same page. And that made you feel pretty good. Because I constantly tell them that I have certain names for the group. You wear several hats, and you have to understand your assignment. And sometimes you got to block, and sometimes you got to bone your way out, and sometimes you got to block the second person when the offensive line might slip, and then you got to be the safety valve that the quarterback is looking to check down to you. So in saying that, you're going to have to be smart. And you have to understand the system, but you the one is the secondary phase for the quarterback. You the cushion. You his safety valve in both ways. And the 4 guys that we have, they have demonstrated that they are capable of doing that.
And since you brought up the Cowboys there, from an offensive perspective, since you're from the Cowboys, what did you think about the Cowboys, how they did in that playoff game?
See, somebody always have to throw a bullet every now and then. I think the modern day Dallas Cowboy football team, as great players as they are, they have a tendency to say the right things at the end of the game, but during the game, they have yet to play at their potential. So I actually think Dak is a great guy, but they got some wide receivers that can do it. But yet, when it's time to step to the plate, all of a sudden you don't see them. And so this part of the country, I mean, all of the Dallas Cowboy fans, they got the mully grubs. And it's not necessarily fair to them because the Dallas Cowboys of now is always compared to the Dallas Cowboys when I was there. And it's just 2 different generations. Not fair.
You're talking a lot about the piece, and I think I talked about this a little bit with Coach Carter last week, and I want to see kind of where it fits with you guys, but I feel like smart, fast, and fearless, none of that is really a physical trait. And I'm starting to figure out, like, even the way you talk about your running backs, being having a physical element, having a fast element is essential to playing a good running back, let's say, for example, anyway. So when I'm hearing you talk good about your guys, we're really leaning into that smart territory more than anything else. Not the other 2, not that fast and fearless aren't important, but I hear you talking a lot about smart. Is that really getting that intellectual part of the game the toughest part at this stage of getting these guys ready for game 1?
So true. I'm a firm believer. If you are not tough between the ears mentally, okay, it's very difficult to play this physical football game. Because if you're at the line of scrimmage and you are constantly telling yourself, well, what do I do on this? Or what do I do on this? And you are not certain about your assignment, no way that you can play full speed. So we constantly challenge them. And when I say constantly challenge them, almost every night, I give the young men exams. And it's no more than 6 plays, but it's their responsibility to draw all the skillful guys' assignment. And on top of that, they have to draw it neat so I can see it. Now, if it's not clear, no clarity, then they're going to get it back, and they probably going to get another one for the next night. So you're going to wind up doing 2 of them. I constantly drive that and push that to them. Say, here's the deal. Because we are the XFL, we don't have 50 guys on offense to go out there and say, okay, I got 3 X's and I got 4 F's and all this. We probably have 4 guys to play 5 positions. So we must know what we're doing. And if we are able to handle that mentally, then we can play. And I always tell them, they laugh at me because I say I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but my responsibility is to expand your comfort zone. And for me to do that, I must take the shackles off the cerebellum. First thing. That's the first thing I have to do. Second thing, I'm going to have to turn you loose. And if you by any chance make a mistake, you don't have to worry about me yelling at you and all that stuff, because it's my responsibility to get you ready. So sometimes you have to teach the guy a certain different way. And I believe that I'm capable of doing that. But I'm a firm believer that you must be tough mentally and you must be smart if you're going to play this game. I always tell the guys, and I know I'm going off in rim. Long time ago, and I say long time ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a research on the New England Patriots when Tom Brady was there. And for 3 years in a row, when they were really on top, their entire football team, all of their players had a degree.
Wow.
So as a result, the head coach, he was able to make certain they had a different game plan on offense and defense, and the guys were able to execute it and still maintain a high level of physicality.
Wow.
So we might not have everybody that has a college degree, but we can definitely come up with a plan that is simple enough and able for them to understand it and have enough confidence in each other to say, look here, if you do not understand it, speak up right now. I'll be glad to tell you where it's going. And the guys have been very good about that.
Shackles off the cerebellum. Coach, I'm going to use that for my kids, man. Thank you for that.
And speaking of kids, I get a chance to meet a lot of inspiring kids that are trying to make it to the XFL, NFL, and things of that nature. You're a college Hall of Famer. Talk about what they can do to make it to that level.
First thing, you got to be skilled. That's the second thing. First thing. Second thing, you have to be, your work ethic has to be second to none. And the third thing, that you're going to have to believe in yourself. I tell everybody, especially when I speak to crowds or young kid, I'll tell them that there are more people in this world will tell you what you can't do. You're too short. You can't catch. You cannot block. Cannot throw the football. Cannot tap. Cannot cover. Whatever it may be. The key to being successful, especially if you're talking about getting to the next level, you first believe in yourself. Secondly, you surround yourself with people that believe in you. And then you flat out just go do it. And if you by a chance climb that tree and that limb break, when you hit the ground, stand up, dust yourself off and run up that tree as fast as you can. And if you by a chance have that particular attitude, your chance of being successful is real good.
Wow. That's definitely great advice there to go by. And, last one for me is that, how has the experience been with working with Danny Garcia and, Dwayne Johnson, the management, upper management?
Well, I have met them and shook their hands, and they have been very, very good to me. In some ways, I've somewhat been avoiding it because I figured if they cut people, especially if I don't make a few first downs, I said, that's not good. So, I'm somewhat going in the back door a little bit, but when I have encountered them, it's been very well and very well received.
That's awesome. And I definitely think your team's going to do phenomenal. I definitely wish the best for everyone, including yourself. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about what you're going to do.
I am too. I'm pretty excited about
it. Y'all good? Any more questions for Coach Ford?
No, that's all I have. Thank you, Laney. Thank you, Coach. You definitely took the shackles off my cerebellum today for sure.
Yes, thank you so much, Coach Ford. It's been a real pleasure, an honor.
Well, thank you. Likewise.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Have a blessed day. Nice to see you, Kyle.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Nice meeting you,
Laney. Take care, Kyle. Have a blessed day.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.